Assalamu alaikum, Gianu, Bajera Galeni, How, Tunishime, Washmale, Ohio Gonzaimas, Gutamogan, Ola, Bojo, Privet, Kaifahal, Halashuma Chature, Alan Vasal, Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Fabi, Bali Garea, Hoj Galden and I, Huyamora, Chivato, Chihajo, Kalimera, Khairutan, and a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and Watching World this morning. Alongside my wonderful colleague who happens to be Miss Eesha Rehan. I happen to be Shahzad Khan, and we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your hot, humid Tuesday morning with us. But first things first, hello Eesha, assalamu alaikum. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam, Shahzad. I am feeling absolutely ecstatic today because once again Islamabad has been enveloped by a blanket of clouds. While coming to work today, I was welcomed by a very light drizzle, which was very pleasant.
Really?
Indeed. Yeah, definitely.
Where was it happening?
At Bargla Road.
Really? Oh my God. Okay, so probably I was at an alternate route, because I took the Blue Area road as well. So I think I really missed my chance of that little drizzle. But it's okay. I think for everybody who's out there, what we need to do is that we really need to kind of keep an eye on what's happening if we are to kind of speak about monsoon. So imagine that for people of Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for more rains because more monsoon rains with wind and thunder showers predicted across the country from today onwards. According to the Met Office, weak monsoon currents are continuously penetrating the upper and central parts of the country and are likely to intensify from today. Heavy rains may trigger flash floods in local nallas and streams across the country. Eesha, what does NDMA has to say about it?
Well, let's dive into what the NDMA has to say about this. The National Disaster Management has issued flood and landslide alerts for GILGIT-BALTISTAN and Azad, Jammu and Kashmir. National Emergencies Operations Center of the National Disaster Management has issued flood alerts for various areas, and according to the reports, rain is expected in Gilgit, Skardu, Hunza and Shigar areas of Gilgit-Baltistan, as well as Muzaffarabad, Neelam Valley and
Bagh in AJK
forest. Yes, exactly. And the Chitral Valley, the Bunni and Rusain areas, the rainfall combined with melting glaciers may result in rise of water flow of the river of Chitral.
And not just that, urban flooding is also likely in Muzaffarabad and Bagh due to heavy downpours. NDMA has directed all relevant departments and agencies to take proactive measures. To speak further about it, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Mr. Mahr Sahibzad, who happens to be the DG, Pakistan Meteorological Department. Hello, Mahr Sahib. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam. Fine. How are you?
Absolutely perfect. But sir, there's going to be another monsoon rain spell. Please go ahead. Let us know about it.
Yes. That we have predicted that will affect from the 28th July, and now it will gain some momentum. Yesterday, in some areas of the KPK and Punjab, rain has been reported. But today it is likely to affect the catchment area of the Kashmir and other areas. And today in Islamabad, rain is also expected. And so, as you have already warned that landsliding, flash flooding, and other phenomena of the riverine flooding, not in the rivers but in the nalas, it can be observed. So still the frequency of the major floods is not possible, but that rain will affect to the reservoirs level also. You know that today Mangala reservoir has been filled up to 57%, and Tarbela has achieved the level of 85%. So still these both reservoirs have a much capacity. So there is no chance of the flooding in these rivers. Only if the rain occurs in the catchment areas of the Kashmir, only the still Chenab is vulnerable.
All right.
Exactly. But Mahr Sahib, in addition to this, I think what I would like to ask you over here is that for how long do you think that this monsoon spell is going to continue? Do you think that it's going to be for the...
This spell is only for the 4 days.
Okay.
This 4 to 5 days, it will not prolong. But the new system will also then will be affected because the one system just moves on from Bay of Bengal or Arabian Sea. Then new system also generates over that. You know that this system that was appeared as a depressions over the Bay of Bengal. That is why the main focus of the rains becomes less due to this system. So this system will, I think, approach up to the central part of the India yesterday. Tomorrow it will approach to the central part of the India. Then it will be decided that it will affect to the lower part, southern part of the Pakistan or the upper part of the Pakistan.
And sir, in addition to this, where you're actually sharing your views about, how there will be another system which will be generated, can we consider or can we say that, that this might be the last monsoon spell, or we should be expecting more monsoon rain spells in near future?
Shahzad, no last monsoon spell. Monsoon spells will be coming up to the September. This is, that just we are going to be having the completed 1 month only, July. But still 2 months of the active monsoons are really
Okay.
2 months. 2 months are still remaining. So monsoon will not still end. That will be coming, but maybe the durations may be extend just like 1 week, or this type of the duration may increase for the monsoon spell. But the monsoon spell will continue to be approaching Pakistan.
All right, thank you so much for vividly describing for our audiences how they should protect themselves and what areas to avoid, and how the monsoon spells are not as heavy as they were before. Thank you so much for giving a detailed breakdown for all the people that
Exactly,
are
it's great, Eesha, but I think what we really need to speak about over here, and we have been talking about it before as well, that people really need to be careful. I mean, please make sure that you do not put yourself in jeopardy just by thinking that the weather is so nice outside and that you really need to travel to the north or probably Azad Jammu and Kashmir, because we've shared and highlighted all of those areas which might be prone to urban flooding. But alhamdulillah, I think it was very reassuring of Mahr Sahibzad to say that, that obviously we are not in danger. There might not be even flooding, but this is a monsoon rain spell which will be there for the next 4 days. So all we need to do is carry our umbrellas, stay back at home, stay safe, enjoy some pakoras and samosas and chai, and that's it. Just relax and pray for everybody else to be safe at their homes.
Definitely. Guys, always follow Shahzad's advice. He always has a very welcoming and warm vibe. And but what I would like to highlight is that landslides are still very prominent, which is why we need to be on the lookout for if we want to travel to Muddy or the northern areas. So yeah, but not just that. What I really feel like we need to dive into, as we've talked about the weather, now we need to talk about how the skies have parted upon the fields of sports, and people are shining and thriving, and how different sports teams are excelling. So what we really need to talk about is how Pakistan's volleyball under-19 team maintained a winning streak at the volleyball under-19 championship with a convincing 3-0 victory over Puerto Rico. The building of their earlier performances, the team delivered another strong display, taking the match in a straight set of 25-20, 25-20, and 25-15. The victory marked Pakistan's 4th consecutive win in the tournament, further strengthening their position in Pool A. Having already secured a spot in the pre-quarterfinals, Pakistan will aim to carry this momentum into their final group with the match against Argentina tomorrow.
Exactly, and not just that, ladies and gentlemen, imagine that we do know how, unfortunately, Bangladesh actually did win a series against Pakistan while Pakistan was touring Bangladesh in the 3 T20 internationals, but now it's time for 3 T20 internationals, 3 one-day internationals, and that too against West Indies. So we will be playing in United States of America and West Indies as well. T20 squads have been announced. Salman Ali Agha will be there. I think there'll be Hassan Ali, Haris Rauf, Shaheen Shah Afridi, and all of these amazing players that we will see back in form. And I think that's exactly what we certainly need to see. So these are the images, which we're sharing with our audiences who are out there as well, for Pakistan team reaching to their destiny, making sure that they're going to keep up with the competition. And West Indies is going to be a tough call. It's not that we have been lately performing really well in T20 internationals, but with Shaheen, Haris, Hassan Ali, and all of them coming back in form, ladies and gentlemen, it gives us hope that obviously Pakistan will do well. And Pakistan really needs to do well now as well. Make sure that, that we prepare for Asia Cup and World Cup, which is next year. So I think Pakistan, best of luck, and please make sure that you bring us a lot of respect an honor by winning, and certainly PTV Sports will be telecasting its match live as well. So please make sure to tune in to PTV Sports. I'll be there for sure.
Definitely. And Shahzad, what I'm very curious about is that you're so avid and very into cricket, right? So you talk about it with such passion. Have you ever played cricket?
Yes, I have.
All right. So
Obviously.
you're a very...
It's not that I've played a lot of games just like you, because imagine, for all of our viewers who are out there, so if I speak about riding, she's done it. If I speak about volleyball, she's done it. Netball, she's done it. Basketball, she's done it. Tennis, she's done it. Squash, she's done it. Is there any sport which you haven't played? Probably baseball.
Probably baseball and
golf?
paddle. Golf I have. My father used to play golf, so I used to accompany him as a child. But that was very informal, right? So I would just play with his tools and the balls and just run around the golf course and the clubs. I don't even know the terminology.
It's okay. It's okay. That's fine. That's fine. We get it. We get the point.
Yeah, but I was highlighting, I don't think I've played paddle yet. So
paddle?
It is on my bucket list.
Yeah, I think the only reason why you haven't played paddle is because most of the time your father pays for whatever you've been playing already. So paddle, you'll have to pay for your pocket and book a court. So next time if you book a court, the game is on. All right,
Definitely.
It's a competition, and okay, I don't know whether we should do it or not, but whoever is going to win will be treated by the person who loses. Okay, we can do that.
Done. Me and Sad are going to have a paddle match.
Yeah, we are. But where we speaking about women, I think we really need to kind of speak about UEFA Women's Euro. England beat Spain to win Euro 2025. England successfully defended their UEFA Women's Euro title, beating Spain 3-1 on penalties after a 1-1 draw in extra time. Spain took the lead in the 25th minute through Mariona Caldente before Alicia Russo equalized for England in the 57th minute. In the shootout, Chloe Kelly scored the winning penalty while keeper Hannah Hampton made 2 key saves to seal victory. This was the first Euro final since 1984 to be decided on penalties.
And not just this, according to the news, England has clinched a thrilling victory in the UEFA Women's Euro 2025 final against Spain. And the match held in the Basel was tightly contested, with both teams showing exceptional skill and determination. Cole Kelly scored the decisive penalty and cementing the England's back-to-back European titles and solidifying their dominance in women's football. So I think it's very highlighted how women are excelling in different fields, and women need to be consistent in how they play sports around the globe.
I think that's wonderful. So we've spoken about sports from all over the globe, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to talk about this is a very common phrase that we use over here in Pakistan.
All right,
Asteen ke Saamp. Have you heard about it?
All right. I have heard a lot about it.
Do you know who are Asteen ke Saamp?
So I feel like, according to my age, people usually consider people in their university snakes.
No. That's not what we're saying. So basically, it's a phrase where we say that, the people who, who are around you, who surround you, who pretend to be your best friends, but unfortunately, whenever they will get a chance, they will bite
you behind
all right.
back.
But while we are talking about it, ladies and gentlemen, let's just come to snakes first, because imagine that we might have gotten our hands onto the smallest snake in the world. So the world's smallest snake, which had been feared extinct, has been rediscovered after nearly 2 decades. Itna chota nazar hi nahi aaya hame for 2 decades. The snake, called the Barbados thread snake, which measures 3 to 4 inches, had been lost for about 2 decades. There have been no verified sighting of the reptile since 2008. However, during an ecological survey conducted by the Environment Ministry of Barbados and the Conservation Organization, while a couple of months ago the snake was found under a rainforest rock in Barbados. Why aren't we sharing the images? I would want to see the images of the snake.
Definitely. I think the snake would be very cute and very small, but what I think is very essential that we highlight how people are afraid of snakes, but they are very, very vital and integral to the ecosystems and habitats that they live in. Definitely. So they consume different animals, and they're predators for different animals that might disrupt the food chain and might disrupt our lives, right? So when I think about different insects like mosquitoes and other bugs, I want scientists to completely eradicate them.
No, they cannot.
But however,
be
I think that's very selfish to think, because they form ecosystems and whole food chains and allow people to thrive.
Exactly. So which is why, ladies and gentlemen, meanwhile, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a short break, and once I'm going to go for a short break, I'm going to make her understand where, we cannot take away life from any other species just because we want it. So we're heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with a change of mind, okay? Good morning. Change of perspectives, rather.
all the wonderful people who stayed tuned to watch B2B World this morning with us. And we are back in studios, and before this we were talking about how habitats are very essential and they play a very integral part in the food chain.
And just because we want, we cannot eradicate them.
Definitely. And you know, due to global warming, food chains are being disrupted and a lot of weather patterns are being very bipolar. But the question is, are we adapting to this change? Are we making the change that is adequate and needs to be accommodated by this changing climate? But we are very lucky to be joined in the studios by someone who is actively taking part in this kind of role. In studios today is Abdullah Deol, who is a water scientist with UNESCO and who has been closely involved in the climate conservation efforts. And he is going to enlighten us about how cone-shaped glaciers are being formed by farmers in Gilgit-Baltistan.
Hi, Stupas. Yes, exactly. Hello, Abdullah. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today, brother?
Walaikum Assalam. Good morning to you. I'm feeling really good. Thank you very much for having me again.
Thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful to have you. All right. So, so Eesha has actually given a very generic statement about what we're discussing today, but I'm going to take you to Gilgit-Baltistan, where it's unfortunate for us to see where how glaciers are melting, and there might be scarcity of water, which their farmers are already experiencing. So they have come up with a technique. We'll speak about it, but let's first of all speak about the general condition of the water resources in Gilgit-Baltistan.
I think it should be more like water management instead of saying water scarcity, because right now we have a lot of water just flowing through the entire country once again.
Yeah.
It's like basically flooding happening right now, and I think Gilgit-Baltistan is one of the regions, not just in the Pakistan, in the world, which is very prone to climate change.
True.
The reason is because Pakistan has the second largest number of glaciers than any country, than anywhere on the planet, like after the poles, and most largest than any country in the world. According to a study, it's like 7,253 glaciers that are known, and unknowns are to be discovered yet. So the thing is, if we are not able to manage those floods, if we are not going to store them, rather underground or whether it's in the form of a storage dam, we're going to have a water scarcity. If I say something in the layman's language for our viewers to understand, imagine that in Islamabad we have CD and it provides us water, and your local municipality provides you 6 liters of water for 6 months. But instead of providing 1 liter every month, your municipality says that they're going to give you 6 liters at the end of 6 months. So what you're going to do, you need to have 6 storages or one big enough storage that can store that 6 liter of water. So whether water comes after 6 months or after 1 month, you have enough storage. So the thing with the Gilgit-Baltistan and the farmers there, unfortunately, is that the storage is not there.
Exactly, and we'll come back to that point, whether what sort of innovation has taken place and what they're doing, in order to curb this menace. But the Environmental Protection Department of Gilgit-Baltistan has warned about a severe water crisis in the region caused by reduced snowfall and rapidly melting glaciers due to climate change. And they say that there are external and internal factors which are contributing to, for such glaciers to melt. What are those internal and external factors?
The internal factors are those, the methane, I would say the methane gas. So it's not just the carbon emissions that causes the climate change, but also the methane.
Okay.
And unfortunately, we don't have a waste management in Pakistan. Islamabad is the most planned city. Even in Islamabad, we don't recycle our garbage.
Yeah.
So what happened when our wastage, our garbage goes into the dumping site, there's a process called anaerobic digestion, and from that yearly a human being 22 to 51 cubic meter of methane is extracted into the atmosphere from that garbage for one person. So
which
imagine how much would
contributes
be
towards glacier melting.
Yes, because it contributes more than the carbon emissions to cause global warming.
Okay.
And when global warming is more, the glacier melting is going to happen. So external factors are, of course, carbon emissions of other countries. We have less impact. But when you look at the report, we are in the top 10 countries when it comes to methane extraction.
Okay.
And one more thing is, unfortunately, we don't have very good relationships with our neighboring country, India. And recently, unfortunately, event happened. So it also emphasized why we really need to solve this political issue with the Kashmir,
Exactly.
with India, because our forces on both sides are sitting on those glaciers. Siachen is like one of the biggest glaciers in the world.
True.
And it causes a lot of melting, and glaciers are melting faster after 99 than they were before because of the heavy military presence, because of human carbon footprints, methane footprints, and everything. So I think both nuclear nations should be responsible enough. Both are blessed by the nature.
Thank you so much, Abdullah, for saying that. There's a reason that, I'm barging in over here, and the reason is, now imagine that for you, as of Pakistan, if we are to speak about it, our covered area is not that huge or massive, right? And if we are to speak about our neighbor, we have actually had experienced this phenomena over here in Pakistan because of the the leftovers from the agriculture being burnt in India, and that actually engulfs our Punjab into smog. And we see that phenomena over here quite a lot of times as well. How do you think that we really need to make sure that, that India starts to work on making sure that they're more crime resilient?
I think there's a saying, when a matchstick burns, you light up a matchstick to put fire on someone, the matchstick is the one that gets on fire first.
True.
So if India think it like they are going to protect us, not Pakistan, so maybe it will change an impact, because also India is affected. When they burn those crops in Delhi, the pollution and the air quality index of India is worse than Pakistan. So if they will do that, it will cause a lot of good things for them, for their environment, for their air quality. And if we look at the history of Europe, let's say, they were bloodthirsty. Yes. Now they work together. They share all the information. They share their transboundary data when it comes to the rivers, when it comes to the air quality, everything they share, and they work. So I think we have a history that we used to be one country. Whatever happens now happens. So, but at least we scientists or we activists should talk about this, or through media we should talk about, at least we should have a climate diplomacy. We are not Gen Z, we are not millennials, we are Gen C. Generation of climate change. I look at it like this, Gen C. So both India and Pakistan, the sane and sorted people there, humans live on both sides. So I think they need to work together, at least when it comes to glacier melting, when it comes to air quality index, when it comes to sharing the flooding data and everything. Because India should not think at it like an animal, it should think like...
Exactly, point taken, and that, both the countries need to sit on the table, but, as of now, I think it's really difficult because even the Indus Water Treaty stands in a base. Now, taking you back to Gilgit-Baltistan, we have identified what the internal and external factors are of climate change and, glaciers melting at a fast pace, and how farmers are actually facing a lot of challenges just because of the fact that there's water scarcity. Now, they came up with a very innovative idea, and they're calling it ice stupas. And that idea, ladies and gentlemen, because these visuals that I'm going to share with you on your television screens now will actually help you understand. So what they do is, when the temperature is sub-zero, they start spraying water in the air. So as they start to spray water in the air, what they do is that, that obviously ice starts to form. And these stupas, then later on, when the temperature falls down, and if the glaciers are melting, and if there's water scarcity, hold millions of liters of water for farmers to kind of make sure that their agriculture keeps on growing. Now, this is a concept which I do believe is actually going to help us. So we might not be able to kind of curb the menace of climate change together, or across our neighbors, but we really need to be creative with our ideas, and this idea has actually helped us save millions of liters of water for farmers in Gilgit-Baltistan. What do you make of it?
I think it's brilliant. And like they say, a necessity is the mother of invention. And this is one of the great things. And also, I think it is very carbon neutral. They're storing it, but using the temperature of the atmosphere.
That's it.
And that's it. So it is great. And whenever the temperature changes, it melts and it provides all the water. Yeah. I think they have come up with the very cheapest way of storing water.
True.
You don't need to dig
all you have to do is just spray water.
Yes, you don't need to build a dam. You don't have to spend millions of dollars or something. I would say hats off to those farmers.
And Abdullah, what I'm very excited about, how you highlighted that we still living in the 21st century, in 2025, we still go for landfill dumping rather than having a structured recycling pattern or recycling facilities. So this landfill dumping causes carbon emissions and the greenhouse effect, which is why methane is eradicating the ozone layer and causing a lot of global warming. So we always think of climate change as a future problem. So I want you to highlight for our audiences how it is a current problem. We are dealing with the aftermath of it, but just the surface level. So the future generations are going to deal with the heavy lasting impact of it. Do you think we can make appropriate change right now?
Wow, that was a wonderful
It's a really
question.
good question, and I think any sane and sorted person should know that it's happening right now in the present, because 2022 flooding, 1/3 of the country was underwater. 2007, 1/3 of the country was underwater. So our management and climate change is happening right in front of our very own eyes, and of course we need to think about our future generation. You know, just like we are earning money, we are not taking care of our health because, oh, I want to leave a
because
lot
I don't
of
see you at the
property.
gym now. Yeah,
Yeah, because you know they're grinding to make
because
more
you're earning money and you're not looking after your health, but that's not good.
Exactly.
I'm going to take Abdullah to the gym right after the show now. Yeah, please go ahead.
I have a really good mentor and I'm blessed for that.
Alhamdulillah.
So, you know, like people are very much concerned about the legacy in terms of monetary terms they're going to leave for their kids and their upcoming generation. Oh, I want to have a plot in that society, blah, 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 this much of property. But you know, what is more important for them is a clean air for them to breathe. What is more important for them is to have water to drink. For example, you have all the wealth in the world right now, for example, and government just announces we have hit the day 0. There's no water in Islamabad. What are you going to do with your money?
Yeah,
Alright.
true.
In Lahore, there are so many
Buy
rich
mineral
people.
water.
Yeah, but for how long? You have to take shower, you have to do a lot of things, you have to clean yourself, you're not
Yeah.
going to be able to
It's
do
going
that.
to be a different status there, man.
Yes, and also we do not think like individually, we need to think
True, collectively.
For example, in Lahore, when we have this smoke, everybody is unable to breathe. If we are thinking, oh, this is his problem, I'm not going to check my carbon emissions of the car, I'm going to keep burning the crops, I'm going to have my brick kiln emitting carbon emissions, then what's going to happen? Nobody's able to breathe.
True.
So for this generation, I want them to understand, what are we going to do in the future? Are we going to walk around with oxygen cylinders individually? Is that what we're going to do? We cannot do that.
True.
So that's a problem for everyone. And also, as a Muslim, you know, Allah is going to ask us what you did for your actions.
True.
So even, you know, there's a hadith that if a person is planting a tree and the Qiyamah, the day of judgment shows up, he keeps on planting that tree. That's the emphasize and importance of a tree. It provides you shade, it provides you food, it provides you a reduction against the carbon emissions. It's like
yes.
a natural and a free source of cleaning your environment.
Exactly.
And the
And
air.
thank you so much for saying that the community really needs to come together on this and make sure that we could put in efforts which are more collaborative and for a greater benefit of the people around us. Thank you so much, Abdullah, for saying that. I think it's great. But do you have any innovative idea? Because imagine that, you know, in Gilgit-Baltistan, it's the temperature which gives them the edge, and, you know, they can store water and millions of liters of water for their, you know, farms to be fed with water. How do you think we can do it in plain lands like, or urban cities like Islamabad, Lahore, Karachi, Faisalabad, Sialkot, Multan, Peshawar?
Actually, there are already a lot of methodologies available that we can do. It's like the example of the Netherlands storing water into the underground.
Please go ahead.
So, first of all, let's talk about flooding a little bit. There are 8 types of floodings. So one of them is urban flooding and torrential, like a lot of rain happening, and our urban system is not able to accept that into the drainages. Why? First of all, when we extend our cities, like there's expansion of some private societies, they just connect their drainages into the old system of the city, which chokes everything. So first, we need to do a management, for example, the expansion of blue area, or they're just going to put all their drainage into the old system, which is going to choke it. So this is one of the things, and then they're going to use climate change as a scapegoat. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm talking about this, that
Thank you so
do not
much.
use it as a scapegoat for your mismanagement. Secondly, you talk about storing the water. So how we store water? We have a big 4-kilometer square area of just F9 Park. Imagine having a ground storage of 4-kilometer square beneath it. We have so many parks. Imagine having a storage beneath it. In Lahore, we have, in Lahore we had a Ravi, and under the river Ravi, there was a natural storage of 50 million acre feet, which is depleted to now 30 to 35 million acre feet. And to put it into perspective, Tarbela Dam stores just 7 million acre feet.
Okay.
So imagine the storages we can have underground. And the prediction is this year, Islamabad and Rawalpindi are collectively going to receive 893 millimeter of rainfall. So if we could store that, because we collect all the rainwater. You know, everything is actually done in Islamabad, for example. Just talk about this city now. We have a separate drainage for the sewage. We have a separate for the rainwater. We collect it and we just flow it into the Nala Lake. And then the water is
And then what's the
wasted.
point?
It's
Yeah.
like basically diamond falling from the sky and I'm just wasting them.
Yeah, that's true.
So instead of just flowing it into the Nala Lake, maybe we can divert and put it into the Rawal Dam. If the storage is not there, maybe we can build a new storages across the way.
True.
So rainwater, if we just start storing it into the underground, then we can also make a new rule for every house that is going to be built, that you need to have an underground storage.
Exactly. And
Not just for your own house, just for the groundwater to be raised.
I think that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Abdullah, for all of these recommendations and suggestions. And we hope that, that people actually listen to that as well. But not just that. I think what we really need to do over here is we really need to think about all of those, I think, ideas, brilliant ideas, probably, think outside the box as to what needs to be done. In Karachi, I just saw, I think, that they are actually building underground water reservoirs to make sure that they preserve water.
That's
because in
great.
Karachi, that's a huge issue.
Important.
I have lived for 5 years in Karachi, and there wasn't a single day where I didn't have to order a tanker, for my house, because there's no water. There's basically no water
my
in Karachi, and
gosh.
it
That's
actually becomes challenging. But thank you so much, Abdullah, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you. And you just have to wait because we'll be heading to the gym right after the show. Okay?
Yeah, of course. And one thing I want to say
Sure.
about the water tanks,
Definitely.
those water tanks are going to be depleted one day because they don't have hydrogen and oxygen cylinders. They're not mixing it. They're just pumping it out from somewhere. If there is no groundwater, no tankers as well.
Exactly,
So
but with
please
this
save
rain,
water.
ladies and gentlemen, the groundwater levels will actually
Rise
come
again.
back up. But for that, we really need to kind of expect rain in days to come as well. Unfortunately, we had a very dry and cold weather back in December, and in all of those months, for at least 3 or 4 months, it wasn't raining, and it actually did become challenging. But thank you so much, Abdullah,
Thank you
for
for
all of
having
your
me.
recommendations and suggestions. It was a very serious
Topic, of
discussion,
discussion,
and for people who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, there are reports by United Nations where they do say that parts of the world will become water scarce as well.
Exactly. And Shahzad, just today I was watching a reel on my Instagram that stated that the Earth's axis is actually slightly tilted because of the groundwater extractions we've been doing. So the Earth is kind of tilted because it's lost groundwater weight. So I think that's actually very, very devastating.
I think it's because of the dam that China's built, and they're going to build another one as well. So I don't know.
All right,
I don't
so
know
I
if
think
it's
we all
because
have
of that, but I
conspiracies
think the
regarding
last
it.
time that I read about it was that so whatever rate that the globe is spinning has actually gone down a bit by a fraction
Slower.
because of the dam that China has built.
Definitely.
Wow.
But however, since we were talking about global warming, we really need to talk about how artificial light is actually affecting birds and is acting like a pollutant. So a recent study has found that artificial light at night acts as a pollutant like effect on birds, disrupting their sleep cycles, and animals that are, especially birds, use natural cues such as sunlight and temperature to regulate their behaviors. So researchers have observed the patterns that expose that even low levels of light altered these sleep patterns and the hormone cycles, and as well as the brain activity of social birds. These disruptions could impact feeding, mating, and migration behaviors, ultimately threatening their survival. The findings highlight the growing ecological concern over light pollution in urban environments. So I think we really need to highlight how we need to not flash a lot of lights at night, and whether it be cars or my dad loves to turn on all the lights, whether it's the driveway or the gate lights at
Rich
night.
guy.
but I think we need to stop that at night to let the birds live in peace.
I think that's good as well, but I think that, we've always seen, how our grandparents and parents have actually been turning off the light before sleeping, and it actually helps you have a very good night's sleep. But for me, मुझे डर लगता है। मैं नहीं रात को बत्ती बंद कर सकता, so I don't know. I think we'll have to figure out a way. Zero के bulb वापस लाने पड़ेंगे. But while we're over here, let's take a good look at what's happening internationally and on a global perspective, because at least 14 more Palestinians, including an infant, died due to malnutrition, further highlighting the deepening crisis during last 24 hours. The United Nations humanitarian chief has warned that Israel's recent decision to allow more aid into Gaza, only a drop in the ocean, as severe restrictions continue to obstruct the delivery of life-saving supplies to the besieged enclave. In an interview with Al Jazeera, the UN official stressed that despite some progress, the humanitarian situation remains dire, with growing numbers of Palestinians succumbing to hunger and a lack of medical care.
And not just this, Pakistan has affirmed its support for Palestine and calls for an end to the genocide imposed by Israel at the UN Conference of Palestine, urging an end to the war in Gaza and support for a two-state solution. The Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar addresses the International UN Conference on the peaceful settlement of the Palestine issue, emphasizing Pakistan's unwavering support for the Palestinian people. Dar commended the efforts of Saudi Arabia and France in promoting peace in the region. He strongly condemned the blockade of aid, stating that it has crossed every red line of humanity. The collective punishment must stop now. Dar demanded the immediate withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza, retreating Pakistan's solidarity with the Palestinian people. He expressed Pakistan's readiness to support Palestinians in the various sectors and encouraged other countries to recognize the Palestinian state.
And it's great to see Pakistan's resolve, and making sure that we voice our concerns about, what's about the atrocities taking place in Gaza. But in addition to this, looking on the other hand, ladies and gentlemen, it's Thailand and Cambodia agreeing to cease fire. Thailand and Cambodia have agreed to an immediate and unconditional ceasefire after 5 days of fierce fighting along the jungle-covered border that has left at least 35 people dead. The announcement came following talks mediated by Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, who said the ceasefire will take effect at first light on Tuesday and marks a crucial step towards restoring peace and stability. I think it's great, because imagine that, when we started to cover this story, they were always open to talks and coming together and sit and making sure that a ceasefire was being announced. And finally, alhamdulillah, the world is becoming a safer and a better place as well, with too many ceasefires. I think, in my life, I've seen so many ceasefires now, and I do believe that, in days to come, probably we'll see a more global place, which we call Earth. But in addition to this, now let's move on to a very amazing subject. That subject, which everybody needs to learn about, is artificial intelligence. All we know is open ChatGPT, put your topics in, figure out questions for the interview.
All right, not all the time.
No, I'm not even saying that it's you. I think it's everybody.
All right.
See, what people don't understand is that how to effectively use technology. People would start blaming, oh, you're not using your brain or whatnot. See, this technology out there is for you to make sure that it serves its purpose. And I would want people to kind of get rid of this stigma, which you have one way or the other. Yaar, wo chat GPT istemal karta hai, to bewakoof hoga. It's not that. I think they're more intelligent because they're already ahead of you because of the effective use of technology. But how can we inculcate artificial intelligence in robotics is something that we will be talking about, ladies and gentlemen, and how to educate students of our schools, probably a child in grade 3 or grade 4, that what robotics is, what artificial intelligence, and how all of this can be collaborated and brought to life. And to speak about it, we're very lucky that we have been joined by a robotics instructor. He happens to be Mr. Waseem Haider. Hello Waseem, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today? Come on.
I'm
full of
good,
energy.
Alhamdulillah. How are you guys?
Absolutely perfect.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for your time. So what should we do? Imagine me and Eesha, even though we went to good schools, but we never learned about robotics. Never ever. How do you think now we can actually inculcate the learning of robotics and artificial intelligence into our future generations?
Yeah, exactly. This is a nice question. So most of the parents come to me and they have the same question as well. Like, we really want our children to teach this subject, but we don't know. We don't have the background of this robotics and the artificial intelligence. And my answer is very simple. Like, you just need to show interest. This is the very simple thing, right? So like, there's a lot of content on the YouTube. There is a lot of content on the apps that you can see, that you can watch, and you can learn from those tutorials, right? And the main thing that we are building and we are teaching in this robotics and AI is like, student or any person who want to learn about this, he or she should be curious about the technology, about the AI, right?
True.
So like, you should be asking question. We are always the end users. We are using the chat GPT, we are using the smart machines, smart devices, but we don't ask this question, like very simple question, how is it working? We start generating these type
Start
of
to ask
questions.
about it,
Yeah.
be curious about
Exactly,
it.
exactly.
Which is why, okay, you know, for all our viewers who are out there, because for me, my understanding of artificial intelligence is that, you know, till date, you know, on the 29th of July 2025, whatever information is available on internet, ChatGPT has access to it, and what it will do is that it will make sure that when you ask them a question, they will produce some suitable results for you, you know, from all over the web, or probably whatever information it has been fed with. Is that artificial intelligence, or there's more to it?
No, there is more to it. This is just like the one
That's
version of the
0.1% of it.
What we are teaching in the school, we always learn about the smart system, the AI systems. We have seen the sensors and the actuator working in the cars, in the automobile, in the trains, right? So this is the system. Like we have the Orange Line metro train in Lahore as well.
Right.
It's an automatic train, right? How is it working? How recently the government is going to launch the tram system in Lahore as well. It's totally based on the AI system. Like it would detect, take
How
data.
many people are getting on board,
Exactly.
how many people are getting
And
off
it would
yeah.
take the traffic system in its database, and it would take decision on the basis
And
of
start
those AI
adopting.
system. Exactly.
Wow, I think that's great.
Waseem, what really piqued my interest is that according to the World Economic Forum, around 85 million roles will be replaced by artificial intelligence in the upcoming years. However, this will allow 97 million more new roles to emerge. And these roles are going to be surrounded by technical skills and digital skills. So what are these technical and digital skills that we need to work on?
So you see robotics and AI is everywhere, in every department. Doctor cannot say like we are not using the AI. We would see the robots are used for the surgeries as well. Like even the doctors, even the agriculture related persons, they have to see this thing like the AI and the robotics is to be part of their life.
True.
Very soon, right? So my simple answer to this question is like maybe the jobs that is related to AI or the robotics may not exist right now, but in the 10 or 15 years, in the next 10 or 15, there are going to be the jobs that would exist, right? So the main thing over here is like you should be learning the evolution of this technology, and you should be learning how AI and the robotics would be integrated in the new systems, in those systems, in those jobs that we are going to get replaced.
So which is why I need to ask you this, how do you think then education needs to evolve? Because the way that we are educating our children, or the way when we were going to school, it was books and whatnot, and integration and statistics and whatnot. Now imagine I open up my mobile phone, I give them whatever problem I have, and they will give me a solution. So we probably really do not need to learn all of those formulas, and there shouldn't any be rote memorization. How do you think that you are actually working towards an evolving the education system?
Yeah, the thing I'm doing, actually I'm designing the curriculum as well. So what we do, we are integrating the theoretical concept with the hands-on activities. This is really important. Like when the student know how to build a robot, they write the simple codes. But when they're troubleshooting those, when they are applying on the robots and they are testing those coding instruction on the robots, they will learn in the best way. And this is not more a lesson for them. Like this is not just a lesson and they have to give.
It's fun learning.
It's a fun learning.
Yep.
Students get interested. The most interested subject right now, because I'm teaching a lot of students, and the mostly they are interested. They would say like we are not interested in math. Some would say science is difficult, but no one would say the robotic is difficult. They would say like because they're doing the hands-on activities. They are doing it practically.
Yeah, so they know.
That's why it's really fun, and I would suggest every school and every person who is doing this, like even if you're teaching math or even if you're teaching science, it's a STEM, like science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, a combination of that. So if someone is teaching math or engineering or robotics, they should be doing the hands-on activities. They should be doing it in
Which
the
is
fun
why I'm
way.
going to bring in Eesha over here, because she was so intrigued because 97 million new roles will emerge. You think that Eesha can still adopt to a newer role?
Yeah, anyone can do that if he
So it's never too late to learn.
Waseem
So it's
teaches
never
me,
too late to learn, right?
If Waseem teaches me, I'll definitely be down for it, and I might be excelling Shahzad in 2023.
Mashallah,
I might
mashallah.
be the top leading
Probably
AI specialist.
Probably you might not even have to come to the studio. You're like, okay, I'm sending my robot,
Virtually,
Shahzad, it'll get the job done. And then I'll be like, okay, I probably we might have learned from Eesha then. Wonderful.
And Waseem, before this we were talking about, you highlighted how hands-on experiences and tools are necessary. So what tools do you use? Is it Lego kits, and what other platforms do you use?
So most importantly, we would start with the Lego kits. Like for the elementary student, we have the Lego educational kits. It's not like just the toys, it's the controller and the sensor and the actuators that can be programmed. And then we moved on to Arduino and ESP32 controllers. They are like the advanced version of those, and students learn to those controllers how to program them with Python coding or with the Scratch coding, and they start building those controllers, and they are like having the capacity to build smart system in an advanced way. So
exactly, I think that's wonderful, because all we need to learn is a platform, and then a good teacher like Waseem over here. For everybody who's out there, I think that the simple solution is for parents, please make sure that you support your child. When he or she comes in, walks in, be like, Dad, I want to do robotics or learn about artificial intelligence. Make sure that you invest in your child, and it is the best investment that you're going to make. But thank you so much, Waseem, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, this is it for today. Eesha, you want to say something towards the end?
Exactly. You know, as Shahzad highlighted, how we need to push the embedment of AI technology within our future generations, because right now the job market might be scarce, but in the upcoming years, it's going to boom. It's going to blossom and boom.
It's already booming. It's already booming, Eesha, because one of those platforms that I'm working on right now is that artificial intelligence will help people get married and find for their best match. You know, may it be all over the globe. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, till the time that I share that platform with my audiences, make sure that you hold your marriage thoughts, okay? Because my platform will actually help you get the right match. Until next time, look after yourselves. Good morning. Have a great day. Thank you so much.